live.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, it's our pleasure to present to you the newest name in Delaware sports and sports around the world, who's had absolutely no success in the real world, so he's dedicated his life to talking sports. It's our pleasure to present to you, and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the huddle. It's me, Coach Muddle, and Nevada Nick. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope everyone was safe and had a great time last night and getting ready to kick off this new year. We're going to get into some college football and and preview a little bit of this NFC East this weekend. Some big, interesting facts I want to throw out to you. So we'll go from there.
So that means somebody texted you some kind of stat, and now you're going to share it with us.
That's right. That's right. So what's how was your New Year?
Honestly, I think with a lot of people, I'm just glad to kind of get 2020 in the rear view. You know what I mean? And if you notice, a lot of people usually it's like how hopeful they are for next year. I didn't see much of that. I think everybody's like laying low in the weeds, just like praying that, obviously 2020's, Michael John said he's still drunk, that 2020's in the rearview mirror, and hopefully better things are ahead, obviously.
Right. I agree. So I just want to, give a shout out because, your my undisclosed location, Nevada Nick, I went to one of your jaunts when you come down to the area. Just want to give a shout out to Anthony and the crew at Frank and Dino's. Did a fabulous job the other night for me and the fam. So I just want to give them a shout out. It was awesome. So let's just jump in. We got some big football games coming in today to start the new year. We have the New Year 6, and then tonight we'll have we'll have the big ones tonight, the playoff games that I to be honest with you, I don't feel they are that all exciting. I think it's predetermined, in my opinion. Yeah. Like the favorites are going to win and move on, and that's what we're gonna see.
Happy New Year, Sam. And Coach, I don't know if you saw yesterday the Tulsa, Mississippi State, excuse me. Man, they threw down afterwards, and I'm sure with all the COVID stuff, man, people weren't happy because it was ugly afterwards, and the two teams got into a bad brawl. A little crazy with that, but no, I mean, there's a couple good games today, other than the two big games, obviously too. I'm excited to see the Cincinnati-Georgia game, and I like those smaller schools. I'll be rooting for Cincinnati, to beat Georgia. I think it's good for college football when those Boise State type schools, Utah, if you remember, they beat those because it just it just gives them a chance. It gives them a little bit of publicity and helps the
recruiting trail, man. Helps that recruiting, because they able to take those steps, man.
Yeah, because Coach, we've talked about it all year about the gap between these top 2 or 3 teams and the rest of the league. And Coach, college football used to be very territorial. If you were in Pennsylvania, you were going to Penn State or Pitt. You know what I mean? Yep. If you were in Ohio State, you were going to Ohio State. Or like a Cincinnati, if you were in Michigan, you were going to Michigan or Michigan State. That's completely just, what I mean? It's not the case anymore. These kids want to play, at Alabama or Clemson. They want to be on the big stage. They want to be on, obviously seen in the playoffs. And it's created a huge problem. So we'll see what happens because I think you're going to see, obviously, I really believe, next year we're going to see an 18 playoff minimum. I really think we're going to expand it.
But I have to check. If the TV deal is not done, then we're not going to see it until the TV deal is done.
No, you know what, Coach? I don't think they'd care if it was expanded because now you got another week. So TV's not going to complain if you give them more.
Yeah, I'm saying? But it's the it's the contractual thing because you got to move other games because now you're talking about moving that whole New Year's 6 around because
So what? So we can have the PapaJohns.com bowl. I mean, I don't, I like Papa John's pizza, but I don't care about the bowl game, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I agree. I agree with you. So we're we're going to go into these. I love the fact because Cincinnati did their making those steps, baby steps, growing. And you might remember this back in the early '90s when they were still a real small time school.
yeah,
Every Thursday night they were getting their butts kicked by these big time schools so they could get a paycheck, and they dumped it back into their program. They built a top notch facility, and now they're competing with Ohio State, getting some of those kids and doing really well. So yeah, I believe that's a team that deserves a shot at the title.
Yeah. It's a shame, Like I said, I'd like to see in Cincinnati. I mean, because they are undefeated. I understand they're not playing and that's why, Coach, it too. If you're in that like a Cincinnati type team, and I know this year you couldn't do it. I get it, but you got to schedule a little bit of a tougher non-conference schedule. You know what I mean? So that you're playing a Texas A&M. You know what I mean, or somebody like that in your non-conference schedule, so that later on, I mean, obviously with COVID, they were just playing conference games basically.
Right.
You couldn't do it, but you gotta, because if not, they're gonna say, well, your conference isn't good. Which, like I said, look, Clemson's in every year, and frankly, the ACC isn't that great. He has Northwestern, Bama, and Clemson today. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Northwestern's had a nice year. Georgia's laying 10. I think Georgia probably wins the game straight up, but with the 10 points, I'm going to take Cincinnati with the 10 points. I think they're going to come out. You see it a lot, Coach, where those teams, they kind of get overlooked, and then they come in and play really good in those bowl games. And honestly, more than not, they beat them a lot. Honestly, you see a lot of those times where you have that people think, oh, it's the Big Five team versus the whatever they call the other conferences.
Yeah, the non-power
the other five, whatever it is. But no, a lot of times you see those teams, obviously end up winning the game. I mean, TCU did it before they were in the Big 12. Boise State's done it a couple times. Utah, before they were in the Pac-12, did it with Urban Meyer, obviously, the 1 year with Alex Smith. So it can happen, and you see it a lot because I think those teams get a little bit underestimated. And man, that's bulletin board material for those coaches, and they come in like it's them versus the world, and it'll be interesting to see.
And also though, at those big schools, you got a lot of kids that decide, you know what, I'm going to the league next year. I'm out too. And so instead of having that, 12-week or how many games you played this year starter in there, now all of a sudden you're putting a kid in that hasn't started all year. Too. And I mean that factors in. I'm not making excuses, but I am, it is a fact that, a lot of those guys do opt out and decide to move on.
Well, and that's what's tough too, because like Michael Johnson just said 10 now. Wow. Yeah, Michael, you got to look. That's what it's so tough with these things this year. You got to look and see who's out, because I look like the Florida game. I'll be honest with you, college, I just haven't been paying as much attention this year. It's been really tough to gamble on college football. And I noticed the other night Oklahoma and Florida played. And I went in and the line jumped 4 points. Well, Florida, Kyle Pitts, the tight end, opted out. And then a couple guys I think had COVID but a few guys had opted out and a few guys had COVID. So, a bunch of them out, and Florida went and got shellacked. I mean, they got beat up by Oklahoma. So, obviously if you're betting the game today, go in and make sure Cincinnati's guys are playing before you obviously lay money on anything.
Absolutely. Will he be the Jacksonville Jags coach?
No, that's what they're saying. Urban Meyer is going to go to the NFL, they think. Analysts and getting to the next level. I would think my biggest concern with him with the NFL, Jared, would be that he never stays anywhere. Florida, he got burned out. Ohio State, he got burned out. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think he's a college coach. I really don't think he's going to be an NFL coach, and I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. I think he should stay in college. I think if he does go to the NFL, it's because he knows he looks bad if he goes to college again. Because he said he was done after Ohio State. And, that was his dream job and all that, just like Florida was his dream job. And, now it's,
Right.
he kind of looks
Well,
like,
but I remember he was because if I remember correctly, Utah right before Florida, there was a lot of talk about Notre Dame and him being because wasn't he on the staff at Notre Dame?
That's where he started, I think.
Where he started somewhere at Notre Dame and whatnot, and that would have been his dream job. I agree. I think. But let me tell you something. If I am a Jets fan, which I am not by any means,
right,
root for any dumpster fire named the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
But I want Urban Meyer to become Jacksonville's coach because he might take his boy, Justin Fields, and you get Trevor Lawrence.
I wouldn't call him his boy because he didn't really coach him. I mean, he might have had him as a freshman or something, but Ryan Day's been the coach of him.
Actually, you're right. He started at Georgia. He started at Georgia.
Yeah, so he probably never even interacted with him.
And transferred to Ohio State, but I think that was Urban Meyer's last year when he showed up there.
Right. So, Sammy, I need to, buddy. A little bit too much alcohol last night,
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm hurting. When I rolled out, man, out of bed, I said, "Oh man, what a regret doing this stupid shit."
Oh, Mike, thanks. Never had them. Okay, I thought they did.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, Michael. So
I thought they did have some interaction.
You want to get into the games here a little bit? So
yeah, let's do it.
I'll start off with the first game, which is Alabama and Notre Dame. Look, the line's 19.5, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'll grab the 19.5. I'm going to lay it, man. I just think, look, these two teams played in the 2013 National Championship, and Alabama shellacked them. Let's be honest, Notre Dame didn't really, just to be honest with you, didn't belong on the same field as them. I mean, it was just two different caliber players. I mean, athletes. It really was. And you could say it. They, like I said, it was 42-14 that game, and I think – you're going to see a similar thing. I think Notre Dame's going to, they might score some points, but that Alabama offense is just unbelievable. It really is. And, their wide receiver is up for the Heisman Trophy. They're just a very talented team, a tough team to stop. I like Alabama by 24 more. I really do. I think they're gonna shellac them. I really do. You look at that Clemson game, and everybody made the big deal about the close one. Obviously with Trevor Lawrence didn't play. And I said to you, Coach, when Clemson plays them the next time, they're going to lay into them. And they did lay into them because they weren't just missing Trevor Lawrence. Everybody just points to the QB. They were missing 4 or 5 defensive starters too.
Well, they were missing the middle linebacker who's a stud inside linebacker. And he's really a cog. And the 2 games he missed was the Boston game and Notre Dame, and that was the 2 games that obviously lost one and almost lost. And
Coach,
2.
honestly, Trevor Lawrence being missed that game, that wasn't really the problem because the offense was good. Right. The backup, the kid played well. The problem was the defense, and you saw it. They played him the second time and shut down Notre Dame. Notre Dame couldn't do anything. I mean, the first game, I give Notre Dame credit. They came out good. They were running the ball. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They really did. I was impressed. But not the second time, and I think you're going to see some of the same today. I think early's going to tell. If Alabama jumps out on them early and it's 14-0 quick or something, just get ready. It's going to be a rout, I think, personally. Right. But if Notre Dame can hang around and keep it a game, I mean, we'll see. I think they'll probably cover, but because when you're laying 19.5 points. You can't be down a touchdown, and you know what I mean. Right. It's tough because it starts becoming an uphill battle. But I'm going to take Alabama minus 19.5. When points are high, you can't let points scare you because sometimes this game is 19.5 for a reason. And once again, I tell you, Coach, it shows you. It's unbelievable to me that the number 1 team and the number 4 team, there is a 3 touchdown gap.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean.
Says a lot, man. It says a lot.
And that's 1 and 4, Coach. Think about that. If you take the number 1 NFL team and the last NFL team, which is a 32-team gap, You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It might be like the Jets have been about 18 or 19 before, but that's 30 some teams. This is 4 teams, that's the
Right.
problem with college. I mean, it's Alabama and Clemson and everybody else. And to be honest with you, I don't think Ohio State's in their league either. I think Ohio State's better than the rest too, and it's kind of nipping at their heels. But Alabama and Clemson are so far better than the rest of college football. It's not even funny. I mean, it's Alabama and Clemson and everybody else, and then like I
Absolutely.
said, Ohio State is close. You know what I mean? They're close.
And here's the problem. I think really when college football finally expands to 8 teams or more, I believe it's really a whole like maybe 3 or 4 years before those other 6 teams catch up to Alabama or Clemson. I just think because of the recruiting cycle and getting in and you guys show some
Right.
It's
my cousin there. What's up? What's going on? Yeah, man, he's getting ready for some Flyers hockey. I think I don't know. It's like 8 days or so, a week away. It's not too. Yeah, okay. Look at my mom trying to say Notre Dame outright. Right? And if that's your dad, you definitely better bet Alabama because my dad's the biggest push in the world. 12 days away. Thanks.
12 days. Thanks. And hey, thanks a lot for checking us out on YouTube. We appreciate it. Over there on YouTube, Twitter. We're streaming live right now, YouTube, Twitter, and obviously Facebook. So
if obviously first game, like I said, I'm going to lay the 19.5 with Alabama. It's 19.5 for a reason, and I really think they're just going to kind of not, kind of toy with them. Like I said, much like they played 7 years ago and it was 42-14. I'm going to go with Alabama. In the second game, Clemson, Ohio State. Clemson's laying 7 now. With that game, I would say buy the hook because it can land on 7. You know what I mean? Take it to 6.5 and bet Clemson. I just think they're a powerhouse. Trevor Lawrence. Look, most likely, obviously, going to leave now. His last game as a Clemson Tiger, and what a career he's had. One of the better careers in college football history. And if he gets the Heisman Trophy Award, it's more, I think, going to be like a career award for him because obviously he missed, I think, 2 games because of COVID. Right. So, but to me, he kind of deserves it. I mean, he's had a hell of a career, and he's going to move on to the pros. And the Jets, obviously fumbled that by winning 2 games. What a just a horrible organization. If I was the Jets, I would have let Adam Gase play quarterback. I would have done whatever you needed to do to make sure you lose those games. Like, put players on IR. I don't care. And if the NFL finds you, what do you care? Because what is the coach? What is the value of Trevor Lawrence?
Well, they could take that pick away from you.
They're not going to take the number 1 pick in the draft away, coach. They're not going to do that. It's come on. I mean, but what's the value of him to your organization? And like you said, and we talked about before, now it kills your chances of getting a head coach because before we got the number 1 pick, we got Seattle's number 1 pick, we got a lot of assets, we got cap room. It's enticing because people like it when it's kind of empty and they can just build it up what they want.
You could fill the cupboard pretty quickly and be competitive very quickly, and that helps you out. And
coach, Miami's perfect. Look at Miami. Just last year, they traded away Kenny Stills, Tunsil. They made the cupboards bare. They traded away all their best players. Flores coached them up. They got all these assets, and man, they have a top 5 pick in the draft this year, too. Miami's going to be dangerous. And the one thing I just wonder if Miami's going to really kick themselves about is what happens if they take Herbert instead of Tua? I wonder if next year.
Here's a question I want to throw at you because here's the thing. I don't think with Brian Flores, Miami is ever going to have a top 10 pick in the next 10 years. I think they're going to be, kind of the Patriots. Okay. Yeah. So do you take
who's there?
You got 2 picks. Do you take a quarterback? Do you take another quarterback?
No, because I think it's if you could get Trevor Lawrence, but not Justin Fields. I think you stick with Tua then and try to get another player. You know what I mean? To add to because they could use a wide receiver. And, if you're drafting that high, you can maybe get a stud, although wide receivers are real tricky to draft. But no, Miami, man, they look good. And if they had Herbert instead of Tua, I think they'd be ready to contend for Super Bowls next year. I really do. Because Herbert looks, I mean, like I said, you look at Tua, he's already had to be pulled twice for, not conservative, just he is. He's conservative. He doesn't like throwing interceptions, which is good. But you saw last week, Fitzpatrick came in and just started slinging and really opened up the offense for Miami. So, but sorry, I got way off track there. But no, yeah, Clemson game, take Clemson by the hook, take it to 6.5, take them in a tease if you want. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, how can't you? I'm gonna go Clemson and Alabama. I'm gonna lay the chalk with both, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be, if any team wins, I think Ohio State has a shot. But I'm going to go Clemson, Alabama.
Yeah, man, this is in 3D, brother. My 3D shade.
That's great.
Oh, man, I tell you what. Here's the other thing as well, too. Just going back to draft order, let's talk about the Redskins, the Cowboys, and the Giants right now. Mm-hmm. If they win, specifically the Redskins win, they go from if they lose tomorrow or Sunday rather to the Eagles, top 10 pick. They're going to have a top 10 pick. If they win, their pick goes down to 20.
Yeah.
That's a huge slide. You just let your quarterback go that you thought was you need a quarterback because Alex Smith ain't going to be around too big. All right, I'm sorry. The WTFs, whatever.
No, it's the WFT, Washington
WFT. There you go. Thank you.
No, whatever. I mean, and look, for any of these NFC East teams, I like like the Eagles, you almost want to root for them to lose. Like, what do you care if you have 5 wins instead of 4? You'd rather have the big pick. And the same thing with the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Redskins, because let's be honest, what's it mean to win one game, okay? If it means anything for anybody, I would say the most it would mean is for the Giants because they're a young team. You're getting Danny Dimes a little playoff experience. But in Dallas, you got Andy Dalton, who, no matter what, he's not going to be your future quarterback, And then, Redskins, it's Alex Smith, who he's just holding the mantle right now. That's going to be somebody else as well. Who it is, none of us know, but it's going to be somebody else. So look, you're going to play the first round. You're going to play Tampa Bay. And in my opinion, look, anything can happen. The Giants gave Tampa Bay a game. Yeah, I don't think so, Kevin. But who knows? Crazier things have happened. But, Giants gave Tampa Bay a heck of a game at home earlier in the year. So maybe they beat them. But I think Tampa Bay will beat any of those NFC East teams. I just think Brady in the playoffs is going to find a way to beat Danny Dimes or Alex Smith or whoever it is.
Right. I agree.
And I agree with my cousin. He's right about that. And I don't think people realize with Hurts how much that bothered Wentz. And I think might have affected his play this year because Wentz is I think you're starting to see it now. He's kind of very sensitive. Some things are coming out. He wasn't happy they drafted a quarterback, and it probably wasn't the smartest decision when like you said, you got a statue of your backup already out there, and now, a year later you get rid of Foles. Last year he was good. He had 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and then you go draft a kid in the second round. So it is what it is. Honestly, now you got to look at it. It might have messed them up, but it was probably the good decision for the Eagles because at least now they got somebody they can move on with because Carson's gone.
I agree. But, come on. As much as we talk about it, it's a pride thing too, I think. Come on. You're the Eagles division game. It's in your house. You don't want the Redskins of all people dancing on your field celebrating a NFC East championship on at the link.
Yeah,
you don't want that. There's some pride to go into that, and I think and I'm saying this early. I like the Eagles early on. I don't know. You don't have to give it away till Sunday, but I'm just
No, that's a nice game too.
As a Giant fan, though, well, I just think
it's possible. I'll tell you, Coach. Tomorrow night, Coach may have his Eagles hat on too. because if the Giants beat the Cowboys, then you'll be rooting for the Eagles tomorrow night because
You
obviously,
mean Sunday night? Yes, we still
I
have
mean,
2
yeah,
days.
sorry,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm so used to it. Yeah, on
Yeah.
Sunday night you'll be rooting for those Eagles to hopefully beat your Redskins because and look, I don't see that as far fetched. I think it's very possible. Still really curious to hear what's going to happen with the Alex Smith situation because obviously we know they released Dwayne Haskins.
Right.
So if Alex Smith can't go, it's going to be the Heineke kid. You know, now he practiced yesterday, but still, he's older. Anything with a leg, not to be, but with what he went through, Alex Smith, it's got to make you a little nervous, obviously.
Right.
Even if it's just a calf, still, the guy almost lost his leg, almost lost his life. So, I'm sure it's you want to be very careful. I'll be interested to see what happens because if it's Heineke and not Alex Smith, there's such a difference. We said it with Haskins.
Yep.
Alex Smith doesn't turn the ball over. Yeah, he's not going to throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he doesn't lose the game for you because that defense is going to keep you in games. And, if they can score 20 points, Washington's going to win a lot because their defense is really good.
Yep. Absolutely. And listen, Stiz, Aaron Rodgers said, look, kid, hold my beer and let me show you how it's done here in the NFL. Instead of going to crying to his mom. I mean, and
Rodgers just showed up with his play. That just motivated him. Wentz,
that motivated that guy. That guy. And hey, Billy, Happy New Year. Thanks for checking in, buddy.
Yeah, what's up, Billy? Happy New Year. Honestly, with Wentz, it's not all on Wentz. I mean, I think it's an organizational failure. Doug failed. Howie failed. And Carson failed too. I mean, they didn't get the right personnel. Doug failed with his play calling and, not getting the right guys. I mean, it's just a failure across the board. I know. They're women's classes.
You like these things, man. You like the. It's my Dennis Rodman look, buddy.
Yeah,
it's my Dennis Rodman look.
Yeah.
NBA season doing my Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, Kevin, if they want to lose, they should play Sudfield. If they want to get a better draft pick, that's, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they want to let Hurts get as much experience as he can because he's going to be the guy next year. And, we'll see what happens. Hurts has shown a lot, though. I mean, I like how he looks. I think, the combination of his legs and extending plays and, look, he's got to get a little bit better with his reads and understanding the offense. But I like the competitiveness. I like the fire. I think the future's bright with Hurts. I really do. He just needs to get a little bit better because right now what we're seeing, this is his floor. He can get a lot better. I mean, come on, this is his first couple games. I mean, once he gets coached up and a good grasp of this offense, I'm kind of looking forward to what he might be able to do in the NFL because I definitely I think he's a leader. I think guys like playing for him. And you can see, man, he plays with emotion. He plays with fire. And I like that. Josh Allen's a lot like that. And I'm not saying he's Josh Allen, but still, you know how it is, Coach. When you get that first down and you get up and you throw the thing out and it get guys going. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And you're not a fronter like Baker Mayfield, where you'll throw 3 interceptions and then you get a first down in the fourth quarter of a meaningless game and you throw the first down. Sorry, Mike, I couldn't help myself. Front runner, Baker Mayfield. Look at Baker last week. He had he playing the Jets. He has 3 turnovers or he had 3 fumbles or whatever it is. So Billy just wrote a novel.
Billy making it tough novels, man. Come on, man. Look, he took away our faces. I can't even put this up, man. Jeez.
Yeah, now Billy's right though. It's everything. It's an organizational failure from top to bottom. And look, you got a kid who was an MVP a couple years ago, who now is a bottom 5 quarterback in the NFL. So and that's not all on him. It's the team wasn't good. The play calls weren't right. What's that?
For Washington.
I mean,
look, he's going from one dumpster fire to another. I don't think that.
Yeah, no, I think Wentz is going to end up in New England or Indianapolis, and there is supposedly some talk that the Eagles could only take a cap hit of 12 or 13 million, that essentially what Wentz would do is write a check to the Eagles for 20 million, okay, get traded, and then that team gives him a $20 million signing bonus so that they don't have to eat such a huge cap hit. But then they were saying too, then the Eagles were going to ask for a second round pick. I'm like, that ain't ever going to happen. If the Eagles get that and where the team's taking on more of that contract too,
Right.
I think the Eagles might have to give up a draft pick.
Right.
And I'm being serious and say, hey, look, you're taking on all this money. Here's a fourth round pick. And I would do it if I was the Eagles. Just to, wipe your hands in this situation and not have to take a $32 million cap hit. Because if you go from 32 to 12 or 13, man, that's $20 million you can spend on your team or at least push on to the following year. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money. That's a couple good players, that you can add to your team. So it's something that they really need to look at. And Kevin just mentioned, I guess Jalen Mills is out with COVID. Once again, I don't understand what the NFL's doing. Ryan Fitzpatrick tested positive. I think it's really risky what they're doing going into the playoffs. That if one of these teams have a Brown situation of a week ago where their position group, or could you imagine if Drew Brees or Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or somebody?
I don't know. Everybody talks about the bubble for football, and it's so hard. But I think if they just made the bubble in, the Giants or any team for that matter, staying at the facility. You figured out there's hotels right there, whatever. You figured out everybody stays and you have your own mini bubble for the playoffs. Like you can't leave, it's not, you're not 18 weeks away from your family, but you're just, it's a couple weeks. It's, I think that might be work. And
that might be work. That might work.
That might work. Thank you. Yes, I know.
No, I mean, look, I don't want a situation where, one of these real good teams are missing 3 or 4 players for a game, and the NFL is going to look stupid, and then it's always going to be, well, yeah, this team won, but if this team had A, B, and C, it's a different game, and that nobody wants that, man, and I think the NFL's taking a lot of risks because it's happened. And look, 2 teams have already kind of been screwed. The Ravens, no doubt in my mind, if the Ravens were healthy against the Steelers, they'd have won that game. So now the Ravens would be in the playoffs. So I don't think the Ravens are going to lose to the Jags, but still, that's a game that got stolen from them. And then the Browns, I think if they're healthy, I think they beat the Jets. So, I mean, it's what are you laughing about?
Because Mike Johnson wants to know what's in the cup, man.
Pepto-Bismol, that's what's in the cup.
But hey, by the way, really, real quick, because I forgot to mention this when we were talking about football.
Yeah.
West Virginia running the muddle, okay, the muddle huddle, and just throwing it out there, Coach Muddle. My phone's been blowing up because more and more teams are looking into using the muddle, trying to defend the muddle. So, it's making a comeback there, Billy. So, all right, go ahead.
Excited. No,
I am excited. I love it when I see it on TV.
Some, I guess you would say big news, not good news for the Packers yesterday. So they fear that David Bakhtiari, their Pro Bowl, All-Pro left tackle,
who's number one out of what is Pro
Football Focus.
Yeah,
number
Focus.
one.
He's the number one tackle.
Right, out for the year, torn ACL. They fear, and I tell you, if that's the case, man, that's Aaron Rodgers' blind side. Left tackle is the most important position on your offensive line, and that's one thing I was saying to Coach before the show that drives me nuts about the Packers. They say, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers is carrying this team. They have nothing." He's got the best receiver in football in Devontae Adams. He's got 2 or 3 Pro Bowl linemen. His center, his guard's the number 1 ranked lineman in football too. So he doesn't have, schlubs. He's got a good team. Tanyan has been good this year, and he's got some good complementary receivers with MBS and then and then the other guy. I'm drawing a blank. Who's the other receiver? Where hopefully Stiz in here. Oh, Alan Lazard. So he's got good players. not like the Packers are a bunch of stiffs. They got a good team, but now it's going to be an uphill climb if you lose a guy like Bakhtiari, playing good defenses like the Saints and whoever they may play in the playoffs.
Yep, I got to start getting my royalties, Stiz. I know.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
What, from the glasses? Or what's he talking about? What royalties for what?
From the Muddle Huddle. People running the Muddle Huddle, man. You know.
That's not Coach's offense. It's not like he created it.
I didn't create it. I just perfected it. Okay? All right? I took it to the next level.
He perfected it with like 8-year-old kids. Like, let's be honest, Coach. He was coaching Pee-wee football, and Coach is rolling around like he belongs in the NFL now.
All right. But I did take it to the next level. I did take it to the next level and the next level after that, okay? I mean, wait a second. How many college coaches have called you about the offense you run? How many? I'm just asking. I would like to know how many. How many times were you in a room with college coaches?
Who's called you? Who's called you?
Several.
Who?
Several.
He can't deal. That's why. Because it's all a gimmick with Coach.
No, it's not a gimmick.
You can see the stick coming out of his ear.
It's not.
Yeah. Your face is turning brown.
Anyway.
Yeah, did any of them run it, though? And don't say West Virginia, because we all know West Virginia to call you asking you about the Muddle.
Listen, all right? Listen.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether they run it or not. It's the fact that they've reached out and wanted to know about it. Okay,
no, great.
They didn't call.
Okay.
They didn't call Nevada Nick and ask him about hubcaps.
Gotcha. Right. So they called you to ask about an offense they're never going to use. Okay. Well, I'm just saying, if they're not using it, then what the hell?
Okay. But it's in the playbook. And once
it's in the playbook. If they're not running the plays, then what does it mean?
But you use it when you need it. It's trick play. You pull it out.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, man.
Hello, you play to win the game. Hello.
You play to win the game.
Hello. There he is. Give the Jim Moore, Coach. Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Oh, man. One of the great press conferences in history. And you know what? They killed him for it, but I give him credit for it because that's what that team deserved at the point. And it's true. It's like, we're not going to talk about playoffs. We can't win a game. He's like, I love that freaking that sound clip. It's so true. All right, we went off on a tangent there. But no, yeah, so Bakhtiari looks like he's going to be out for the season, and that's a big hit because a lot of people are jumping on the Packers right now. How the Packers are going to win the whole thing. I don't see it. I like the Packers, but I don't think they're going to win it all. I think it's wide open this year. It's going to be really interesting to see because I got a feeling the Chiefs are playing on just hanging in dangerous territory right now. 7 straight games they've won by 6 or less. I just got a feeling in the playoffs that run's going to get hurt them. I got a feeling somebody's going to beat them in the playoffs.
Buffalo.
Oh, they got a chance, yeah. No, that's one of the teams.
I like Buffalo. Yeah. They're starting to play pretty well. It'll be interesting how they play play Sunday because they really can't move anywhere. They're going to, but the Dolphins need a win.
Yeah.
So how is that going to play out? It's going to be interesting.
Well, what's good? Yeah, it is because the Steelers have already said Big Ben's out, and they're going to be sitting other starters too. So the Steelers aren't even really trying to win that 2 seed. So I wonder if the Bills, too, are going to say, all right, we're going to sit some guys, feeling that obviously most likely Cleveland will win that game because it's a must-win for Cleveland and Pittsburgh's sitting their guys. I wonder if Buffalo's going to follow suit and sit their guys because it too, Coach. Buffalo's going to be playing in the first round because obviously the Chiefs have the bye. Wouldn't you want to get your guys that week rest? I think it's important. You know it, Coach. You see it a lot when you see those teams in the second round from the previous years where we've been used to seeing the 2 teams get a bye. A lot of time, man, it's tough to win that second round game because you got a team that's got a week off. The other team's coming in after a hard-fought win in the previous week in a playoff game. It's tough. It's a tough task to complete. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to finish up Sunday and be able to talk Monday and finally see kind of how it breaks down and what the matchups are going to be, because that's
Right.
what it's all about, is the matchups. And you're only as good as the matchup, really, because there's some teams that are better matchups for teams than others.
Yeah. Good point, Steve. Yeah, took them all this years, and they're not getting a bye.
Yeah.
But you know what? You should have won it sooner.
Yeah, but no, I mean, they're if they win tomorrow or Sunday, I keep saying them just like they'd be 13-3. It's just the Chiefs, had a great year, and it's tough. It really is. But look, they'll still get a home game in the second round if they win, if they're the 2 seed, obviously. It's just that's where I really feel bad is those fans have been waiting and waiting and waiting to get a home game in the playoffs, and now you get it, and obviously before they were always on the road because they couldn't get past the Patriots. Last year, the Patriots hung on, still won the division. But they're going to let some fans in, but it's not the same, Coach. I don't know what percentage it is. Let's say it's 25%. It isn't the same as a packed stadium.
Right.
How electric it is, man. There's nothing like a playoff game, and you're with 65,000 people.
Right.
And
the whole place is just rocking. It is rocking. There's nothing like it, man.
And there's nothing
like
it.
Very, very tough for a visiting team to come into a place like that and play. And now you have, and I really think that guys like these elite quarterbacks, not saying that they're not elite, but like an Aaron Rodgers, a veteran guy, Drew Brees, this has benefited them so much because there's no fans. They can actually, they can hear stuff coming in and they understand what you're doing. Like I think they have a complete advantage right now without the fans is those quarterbacks.
And too, Coach, there's nothing like it in the Northeast. That's like the Mecca, especially for the NFL. It's like college, I would give credit. There's nothing like college down in the South. You know what I mean? You go down in, down south.
Now, Mike Johnson will probably say something. Those Michigan, Ohio State people say something.
Okay, well, that's fine. And I'm not, that's big too. But down south, college football is special. It really is. And just like I said, in that Northeast corridor, you have rabid fans, man. Philly, New York, Boston, Washington. They're special fan bases. They really are. And trust me, man, Philly always has that little brother, complex that, New York or New York kind of always tries to mess with.
Well, we are a bigger market. I mean, we can.
Yeah, you are.
We have enough for two teams.
We have 24 teams too, and none of them can win. So, you guys just all cling to the Yankees. So, especially you, because you're a front runner too. So
that's right, man. What are you talking about? I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Knicks fan. I have some suffering. I understand because I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah, and he's got his Brooklyn Nets boxers on, so
Yeah, right.
Hold on.
Besides the Saints, man. And all right, let's see.
Stiz said 6,800 fans in Buffalo.
Yeah,
you see that?
Yep.
Which that's like 10%. I think they can probably fit like 65,000 in there or whatever. So it's like 10%. I mean, that's so hard too. How do you pick that 6,800? I guess it's probably all. I don't know. That's just It's a shame. Those guys all. Everybody should get to be there and. There's nothing like Buffalo, man. And the tailgates they have up there jumping through tables and all, they're crazy up in Buffalo. And, honestly, like last year, I said I like the Chiefs, but I rooted for the Chiefs too because I wanted to see Andy get one. This year I'm kind of – the Bills are the team I'm kind of going to be rooting for a little bit. Because, man, can you imagine – I know what it was like to lose 3 straight NFC championships. Then win your 4th and get into the Super Bowl and lose. So you're on the doorstep. The Bills lost 4 straight Super Bowls. Could you imagine, man, being in 4 straight Super Bowls? I mean, Coach, one of them was against your Giants.
That's right, wide right.
Where, come on, man. Imagine that, Coach, being on the other side of that, where a freaking kick is the difference in the game. And look, it was a very makeable kick. I think it was like 47 yards.
It was
Norwood missed.
46 yards,
Yeah.
but here's the thing: it was on grass. Guys been kicking on turf all year.
Yeah.
Made it, and whatnot. So
Was the Bills Giants? Was that the Rose Bowl one, Coach?
no, the Rose Bowl was the Broncos.
Cowboys.
That
was the Cowboys and Bills. Was it the Rose Bowl? It was the Cowboys and Bills at the Rose Bowl.
Right. Okay.
But I remember Giants and Bills. It was right before the Iraq
Tampa.
War.
It was in Tampa.
And remember they had the yellow bands and all that. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean 4 straight Super Bowls.
O.J. Anderson,
Jay's probably right.
The Bills MVP.
Bills probably will choke again. But for that fan base, man, I wouldn't mind seeing them get a Super Bowl because they've suffered for years, man. They really have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jared, I don't know. The phone line must be not working because it went on my phone, but Coach didn't get it. So I didn't get it.
Sorry, Jared.
I don't know what's going on because I saw.
I guess I got to pay. I forgot to pay the bill last year.
Probably. It's probably a new year and he didn't pay it. What's up, Vicky? Happy New Year, Vicky. Vicky, I'm sorry what you're having to deal with, Vicky, because, man, I'll be honest, it must be tough to be a Raiders fan right now because what's going on there in the last 6 weeks is just a disgrace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, we'll reach out to Angela. We'll have her on. I'd like to get her take on with the debacle that is the Raiders, man.
Yeah. And look, the heat for the heat or the hot seat, excuse me, for John Gruden is getting very hot. I mean, it's really starting to pile out now that, people kind of calling for his job or at least saying, if not next year, playoffs are bust. So we'll see what happens. There he goes. Look at Stiz throwing out his. Yeah. And Vicky, that's my big thing. I think John Gruden's the problem. I really do. His offense needs to get with the times a little bit. It seems a little stale. And some of his coaching decisions, I mean, look, the halftime adjustments, Coach has been beating that drum all year, and he's right. I mean, you can't, and some of his clock management's been terrible. It hasn't been pretty. And to me, if I'm the Raiders, I think he's got too much power in that organization, Coach. I think they got to, because supposedly he's making all the trades, and I think they need to pull some of that stuff. I think Mayock's a good talent evaluator, but they need to find a new way of doing things, and they need to they got to get that defensive coordinator job right too. You got to get that right. You got to get that defense shaped up, and because the pressure is going to be on next year from game one, and he's going to feel it.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. And I just lost my what I was going to say. As always, as it goes.
Oh, I can see it on your face. You're and then this is the guy. All those college teams are calling up to pick his brain. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, what Division I college schools?
Division yeah. Some Big Ten schools, a couple of Big Tens.
And what's the name of those Big Ten schools?
They're in the Big Ten. I cannot.
They're in the Big Ten.
On there. They're in the Big Ten.
Big Ten of the Pee Wee Delaware. The Delaware Pee Wee football interscholastic.
Look, wait a second. I'll throw the conferences out to you. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Conferences: Big 10, Big 12. It's not the Sun Belt anymore. God, I can't think of it. And damn it! But SEC, I got an SEC.
Okay. Now, did you wear the glasses when they called too?
And an ACC school too.
Did you wear the women's glasses when you were giving them the info on how to run the muddle?
So, and as you know, when I'm in my location, I forgot my regular glasses. These are all I could find. It's a little, it's brighter.
No, I get it.
I get the.
Did you hear too? Sam Darnold stumped to keep his job. He said his best days are ahead.
Well, you know what? I mean, if you're it all depends on who you bring in as a coach.
I wouldn't want to stay in New York. if I was him.
If I'm Sam Darnold, I mean, I feel bad. This will be his third coach in 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost impossible. And look, Coach, they bring these guys around him and they all get hurt. I mean, his receivers have been hurt every year. Robbie Anderson and him were getting, and then Robbie Anderson, obviously leaves and goes to Carolina. It's tough. I mean, he's one of those
drafted
guys.
That kid Mims, who I thought was a first rounder, and then he hasn't stayed healthy all year. When he's on the field, he's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people, and I always say, and we've always talked about, Coach, situation's such a huge thing. You know what I mean? It really is situation. And my prime example is a guy like Tannehill. Look, with the Dolphins, he struggled. I mean, look, Gase was his offensive coordinator and coach. He struggled. He goes to Tennessee. Look, man, Ryan Tannehill is right around the top 5 right now in quarterbacks, my opinion. But he's definitely in that 5 to 10 range if he's not in the top 5. He's had a sustained success now for over a year. Pretty much like 70% of the season last year, and then this year. Tannehill's a good quarterback. And let's not make it like Tennessee was this great offense before he came in. They weren't. They really struggled with Mariota. And Tennessee, Tannehill's going in there and taking that offense to the next level. But he has players around him. He has Corey Davis. He has A.J. Brown. He has a decent line. He hands the ball off to Derrick Henry. Right, that's why I was getting to that. Right. Oh, no, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he hands the ball to Derrick Henry, and that definitely helps, and that makes play action huge.
Right.
Yeah,
Vicky, I don't think Wade Phillips helps you because that sets your defense back because he's a 3-4 guy. Right. I mean, he might be able to, and Wade Phillips been around a long time. I'm sure he can, adjust that and whatnot, but
yeah,
I mean, Wade Phillips can.
Coach, too, Wade Phillips is like a year-to-year thing. He's like 73.
Right.
You don't know how much more he's going to want to coach. I think bringing him on as like a consultant and letting him help, that can't hurt. But that defense needs – I mean, it's bad. I mean, Vicky, I don't need to tell you. I mean, they need major changes because it's just embarrassing what's going on there. I said it.
And you got that new stadium now, and you're –
yeah. I said it the other day on Angela's show. They're one play away from being 0-6. If Carr doesn't make that throw against the Jets, they're 0-6. And they're regressing. I mean, last year they were 7-9. But a lot of people felt they should have been 9-7 because these 2 games. Well, this year they're 7-9, and they should have lost to the Chargers and they should have lost to the Jets. So they could be, 5-10 right now, going in to be 5-11 or 6-10. So it's been a bad year for the Raiders and a bad year for Gruden, and they need to turn it around quick.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree, but unfortunately, I don't think as hot of a seat as Raider Nation and you and myself were making that to be, because I don't think you're parting ways with a guy you're paying for 10 years, $100 million.
No.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough deal to part with him. And I think you're going to have to suffer through it because, until it gets a little more into that contract. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think the head coach, your contract's guaranteed, the whole thing.
Yeah, it is. No, they would owe him. Gruden says it wasn't $100 million, but they're going to owe him a lot of money. But he also said he wouldn't take it. He said if he didn't have success, he wouldn't take it. But what agent's going to let their client not take money? You know what I mean? Right. I don't think he'd make set that precedent. But we'll see what happens. But no, I agree. And look, let's not forget too, Mark Davis, probably the poorest owner in football. So he doesn't have money to throw around. And look, he was counting on all that money this year from the stadium. He didn't get it, Right. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But I agree with you. If Gruden's not going to not take the money, I don't think Davis can fire him. I think he's got to get to year 6 or 7 before he's willing to. Because if not, you're leaving 50 or 60 million, Coach, on the table. Yeah, if you fire him after next year, you might be leaving 60 million plus on the table that you got to pay this guy. And you're getting 0 out of it.
Right. All right, on that note, folks, thanks for chiming in this morning and getting your hangover recovery with us. because I need a refill. And hopefully everyone join us Sunday morning as, it's huge Sunday football. I mean, all the playoff implications, big games. Nevada Nick's going to have a lot of money out there, a lot of picks, so it's going to be interesting. And, of course, Stiz with his prop bet and on his roll will be in as well. So it's going to be a fun time. Hopefully we'll see everybody on Sunday morning. And enjoy the new year. Enjoy some football today, and we'll see everybody Sunday. Go ahead.
Right, and once again, Alabama – and then Clemson by the hook, take them at 6.5. Alabama minus 19.5. Clemson by the hook, take them to 6.5 and take Clemson.
All right, there you go. You got it from there, from the Nevada Nick. Enjoy. Go make some money.